Bring up your left hand and bring the 4 fingers together for friendship, camaraderie. Take your thumb on that hand and tuck it in right under the pad of your index finger. So just tuck it in. That's humility. Bring the other hand up. That's aggression, power, and strength, because Tai Chi does have all of those built in. But we cover the strength, the power, with a bit of friendship and humility and a slight bow for respect. Thank you for joining me today for Tai Chi. Let's get started with Wuji. We always start with Wuji. Wuji, the universal posture, also known as the nothing form. Isn't that pretty cool? We have a form in Tai Chi that stands for nothing because it's relaxation. And the way you find your Wuji, bring your feet maybe hips width apart, or if you need a little bit more for balance, shoulders width apart, whatever works for you. Toes pointing forward or a little out to the side, whichever one feels comfortable to you. Shoulders over the hips so you're standing up straight. You don't really push those shoulders back like you do in yoga, but you also want to avoid draping and slouching like we sometimes do in Qigong. You want to have the chest open, so a slight opening of the chest. Let the shoulders and the arms just drape. Let them just be lifeless. Just let them dangle. My hands tend to float toward to the front when they're dangling. Maybe yours is at the side. Whatever's natural for you. Stretch the head to the sky and tuck your chin just a little. Straighten your neck. We want to straighten the lower back by dropping the tailbone a little bit. And we want to flex the knees. Soften those knees so that as you move, you just float on those knees. Now, if you're not used to that, if you're new with us today or new recently, you may not want to do too much floating on your knees today for the whole 30, 35 minutes because you'll wear them out. So be judicious with that, but you want to get to where you can do the entire session with floating knees. Whatever you do, though, don't stand there with stiff legs because then you cut off the blood flow. So you do actually want to stay soft knees, but as far as floating up and down, you might want to be judicious. So find your Wuji. The quick shortcuts to Wuji is stand tall and then relax. When you're in Wuji, it's a meditative posture, and you should be able to stand there for quite some time and relax in the posture and just breathe. That's a great 5-minute class one day, is just to find your Wuji, become aware of your breath, and spend the 5 minutes focused on what your breath feels like. It's a great class. Getting into it myself now. So find your Wuji, and let's play with the weight for a minute. Weight separation is knowing where your weight is concentrated. When you're in Wuji, the weight is equal on both feet. Pretty much half your body is pushing down on each foot. We call that gravity, of all things. So gravity is pushing down equally on both feet. But if you bring more weight to bear on this foot, then this foot is sturdier on the floor and this foot is lighter. We call this full foot, empty foot. Shift the weight to the other side and this becomes a full foot, and this is an empty foot. I like to think of the body full of sand, and I'm shifting sand to one side, and I can feel that sensation of the sand movement as the weight collects here. I can feel the weight shifting as the weight starts going away from this foot and start collecting here. It really is almost like a little shifting sand sensation in the body. It's very comfortable and casual once you get to it. You can just kind of enjoy it as a little meditation on its own. Start your breath, and it's very pleasant, actually. When you start getting into these bodily sensations, you find all these movements to be so fascinating and pleasant. We use empty foot and full foot to decide when to take a step. In Tai Chi, you never step with a full foot. You also never step when they're equal. Like in Wuji, you don't take a step. But you can bring the weight to one foot, make that a full foot. Now you don't lift that foot to take a step, that would be unsafe. But this foot is pretty safe to lift. You can just lift that foot and put it back down pretty safely. Shift the weight, make that the full foot. And now you can shift. That one's the empty foot. So we always step with the empty foot. When in doubt, if you're in a Tai Chi movement and you're not sure which foot to lift, check which one is empty. Chances are that's the one you're about to step out and do something with. Let's do some side steps. Let's bring the weight over to this foot and step out that direction. Step, small step, shift the weight, step in. I'm going to use my hands to demonstrate where my weight is. Weight, full foot over here, step out, full foot over here, step in, full foot here, and step out. I love doing this exercise. Now I'm going to shift my weight and go back the other direction. Great little exercise of its own. So find your Wuji. Let me get a sip of water. Remember, stretch up, expand, and release. And there's your Wuji. Tuck your tailbone, tuck your chin, soften your shoulders, relax your arms, soften your knees, and breathe. Become aware of your breath. You want to just stay in Wuji and breathe for a minute before you start your practice. That's a good idea, actually. It kind of helps get you grounded and get you prepared for your practice. When you're ready to start your practice, we're going to do an opening to show that we're formally starting our practice. The opening form is you rotate the shoulders with the palms facing down, soft elbows, soft knees, kind of dangling hands. Raise them up. Inhale. Release it down. Now let me point out the guidelines at this point. If we rotate our arms and rotate our arms down, we're just moving our arms, just like we're dancing. You know, that's a dance. That's a dance. Well, bringing the arms up and bringing the arms down, that's a dance. But if we slow down, move them slowly, and become aware of the breath, become aware of our weight separation. Right now, my weight is equally balanced on both feet. I'm using good posture. I'm releasing extra muscle strength, so I don't have to, I'm only using about half the muscle strength in my arm.